my private practice, meaning when I work with people, we call that the starfish. What the starfish is you've done too much directing out there in life, and now you're like, do me. Now do me sometimes is fun, but mostly, who wants to fuck a starfish? If you're lazy, it will make it really hard for him. Because what is he going to do, manhandle you, flip you back and forth while you're laying there? I have a couple where she likes to starfish because she's a very high-powered executive. And so they do the starfish when she really isn't up for much but willing to connect, and he doesn't mind doing a bit more work, right? And then the exchange for the starfish is that on occasion she'll give him a blowjob and just walks off and lets him have a moment of reverie and rest, right? Which is the equivalent of that, right? We all have our things. We just want to lay there and enjoy. And so if both people do that, that's okay. But also if you say you don't know what you want sexually, then what you should do together is say, we want to become adventurous of sex. How do we become adventurous of sex? Well, we're going to research every god darn sexual thing we could possibly do. We will make a list. We will try them all. We will decide what we like and what we don't. Right? Why not? Why not? You'd go to a restaurant and maybe try out some different dishes, maybe. So you could actually just have fun and go, what about this? And then you both go, nah. But you might try it, or at least research it, and then you can say, without there being so much shame or shyness, I want to try that. I don't know if I like it, And then you try it out, and then if you can go, well, I kind of like that. Shall we try that again? And then he can make a note that this is something you like. Mentally, and then he'll pretend he's forgotten about it and then surprise you with it when you're starfishing. And the other way around, right? So that would be my suggestion, is go on a little bit of a fun research field trip of trying out some stuff after you've kind of reconnected. The symptom, this is for you to understand, is that for her nervous system to settle, she needs to feel like she has a grip on things. Now, from where I'm sitting, 20 years your senior at least, I can go, you're never going to have a grip on this shit, right? But you don't know that yet. You go, if I would just know what's happening, I could relax. And that's a very common thing, because her nervous system kind of goes pinging for all the stuff that needs to be dealt with. And so what she's actually asking for is something that calms her down. And she's particularly asking for it in the sense that she wants to feel that you know what's up, so she doesn't have to. Now, it sounds very much like you know what's up, right, within your own context. But she doesn't know that. And she doesn't know that because when you're a freelancer versus somebody who has a fixed income, you essentially live in a state of benign neglect, right, of your accounts. What I mean by that is, I don't know if this is true for you, but essentially you have to know what's happening, but you can't get too much into it because you're going to get freaked out, or you block the flow of things, right? It's a really specific thing. If you have, if you're freelance income, you kind of have to keep a beady eye on some things, but let the rest completely go, because if you do know what's actually happening, it scares the fuck out of you and you can't operate, right? It's a thing. So, and you pick that up, and that's not the way you do it. You want to know where everything is and how it is. But he can't operate like that, because you can't operate like that when you're freelance. So, but you can operate like that as a family unit, meaning you can say, these are our general goals. You can do that together. And this is what we can project safely. And then you have your cushion of the things that you can't account for. And you have your safety of what can be accounted for. So the thing to do is to have the meeting that allows her to feel like she knows what's up, while allowing you the space to essentially do that thing where the thing just happens somehow and you just keep a loose eye on nothing going down the shitter, right? Which is freelancing for you, right? So there is a way to bridge that, but it would mean that you understand that mechanism and you understand her need for some clarity that she can operate under. Right. What she's complaining about is she can't settle. All her planning, all her thing is her trying to settle, like to relax. So the bigger picture is that there's something in the way you are laid back and relaxed and patient that makes her go all the time. So the way you pick that up is you understand that she needs a greater containment than you have, and you give it to her as a gift. And that's why she's saying, well, he's not leading. What she means is you don't account for the fact that she needs to kind of feel like there's a grip on things. And so the less she feels there's a grip on things, the more the planning and organizing, the charts, the calendars, the Trello boards, the Google Docs will happen. That has to do with the fact that she's trying to contain herself with her calendar versus relaxing into you containing her. Now, you don't have to do much, but what you do need to do is tell her how it is. Right? So she can do all the planning and all the stuff. All you need to do is say, let's sit down and you tell me how it is. Right? Then she will feel that you are invested. Right? You have to be the CEO of that thing, which to her which doesn't mean you do the work. It just means you are the CEO of it, or the board, or whatever, right? Where you go, tell me how it is. Tell me where you're at. Tell me your forecasting. This is everywhere, not just in this. And then she can tell you that, and then you do the yeses and nos, and you ask the questions, and you supply the information, and then she can relax. Right? And then that will translate in the bedroom in the same thing. You can essentially CEO the bedroom, right? You make the big decision, and then she can do what she does best. Well, no, she doesn't want to hear it's okay. She wants a container around her activity. There's no container around her activity. So you are not containing the activity. So you have to CEO the activity, so to speak, right? All she needs to know is that he is containing the activity and that he's aware of the activity, and also that he feeds in the information she needs to make the decisions. She's perfectly capable of running the joint, but it's nice to have a chairman of the board, particularly when you're married. Yeah. Okay. If you're very competent as a leader, why would you're not going to attract the guy who's also competent as a leader. So the problem is you can relax yourself, right? You can be less aggressive in your leadership style, so to speak. And I'm sure you're doing that and all of that. But the thing is, any guy who's attracted to you goes, oh, great, independent, competent woman. Whew. All right. You tell me what to do. I'll show up, right? I mean, of course, right? I mean, why would he fight you every fucking step along the way about your leadership? So the thing is, you can either go, I like to lead, I'm going to get a guy who's good at being relaxed and with the flow and contributes and we have a great time and it's my way, right? Which is not a bad thing. You know, you could get a guy who's like a brilliant creative of some sort who contributes amazing shit to your life as this creative force that's like, you know, not as structured as you, and bring the structure, That's totally doable. If you're good at structure, bring the structure and then find the thing that actually would complement the structure with something delightful. That's one way. Or you could decide that you're no longer willing to be structured in a relationship. But then you would have to decide, is that really you, or is it going to drive you mad? And is it going to drive him mad with calendar invites? You must stop the calendar invites. Are you really willing to relinquish your leadership role? And that's a real issue. I can tell you for myself, right? I'm like a freak when it comes to organization, and I don't do calendar invites, but I have Trello boards up the wazoo, right? Everybody has to comply with my Trello boards or else. So I love that shit. I love it. I'm not ever going to give it up, right? So I'm not willing to relinquish that, and so I'm not even going to try that. I just have the fortunate, I'm fortunate to have someone in my life who doesn't mind me being a freak in that domain, couldn't give a shit about it, will not comply even if I try, but has a strong pole of a different kind. You can't have it both. You can't be going, if the saber-toothed tiger comes around the doorstep, I know what I'm going to fucking do. I'm going to kill the fucking thing. And then go, I don't feel safe with a guy who's hiding behind me while I kill the saber-toothed tiger. Don't step out of the way. If he can kill the thing, great. If he doesn't, he'll die. So,